Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams.
And welcome in to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I am Eli Moon. This is a Thursday edition, or as we like to call our Friday here on Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. We appreciate you tuning on in, and welcome in, everybody. It has been a beautiful day here in Cleveland, Ohio. As always, going to get a little rain in April and the spring and that, but Chad, I mean, what a beautiful day. 73, I believe, at one point. Tomorrow's going to be up to 75. I mean, we'll get a little rain probably here and there. I did hear the S word, that there might be some SNOW. I don't like to say it, but possibly coming early next week. But then, we're really getting to that time, and we talk about with baseball coming back. It feels good to be in the springtime, pal. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I heard you say you didn't like to spell it, and I was like, well, sad news, friend. You just spelled it. But yeah,
I know.
I was like, no, I'm feeling pretty good, man. I'm always feeling pretty good on a warm day. It's like you said, it's our Friday. It really feels like a Friday. My kids are off school tomorrow, obviously. So it feels like a Friday all the way around. I will tell you that I had a weird thing happen today. This was odd. So I had to check. I was like, it's not Friday the 13th. No, it's Thursday the 2nd. It's nowhere close. I looked at the calendar. And then I'm like, well, what is the full moon fall? Is the full moon yesterday or is that today? So I was downstairs walking, through my house, and I heard a pretty loud metal clanging noise, right? It was loud. And no idea where it came from. It took me hours to figure out. Actually, my daughter saw I brought her home from school, and she was outside and looked under the car. She goes, what's under the car? I said, I don't know. What do you mean? She pointed or whatever. And I looked, and I dragged it out with a broom, and one of the rear coil springs on my wife's car just broke apart at the edge of it. The end of it broke and fell off. No idea. There were no symptoms. There was no rough ride. There was no sound. There was nothing. I don't know if maybe a pothole got us at some point during this winter, and it finally just corroded the rest of the way off of there after being cracked a little bit. I'm not really sure exactly what happened, but it was really bizarre, man. It was really, really weird. So that's it now.
And I had questions for you. You sent me a picture of this earlier today, and I said, is that half of a horseshoe? Do you have half of a horseshoe,
We travel by horse and buggy. It's fine, yeah.
And I guess my other question was, are you okay? Is the car okay? Are you able to drive that? And you told me that, you did take it for a spin. So, I mean, I'm assuming the Bryan mobile, the vehicle is good to go. And crazy, bro. But, I mean,
drove it not knowing that had happened. And, I mean, like I said, nothing noticeable. And I've worked in car dealerships. I've worked in the service department. I mean, I can feel when there's something going on, if you've got a wheel bearing or when I hear those sounds, and nothing, no odd sounds, no weird bumps or anything. It wasn't leaning one way or the other. So I don't know. It was just really weird. It's just the end of the sprint. It wasn't a huge deal. It's not like it cracked all the way through and the whole thing broke and it's fallen off or anything. It's just the very end of it, but still really just weird, man. Just a weird day, man. Weird day all around. But it's good. We're fine. We're good. We're gonna get over it. We're moving on.
We sure are. And we got a lot of fish to fry, as they would say. And we're gonna go ahead and fry them. We're gonna take a look at a lot of stuff here today. We got very exciting stuff later on. We'll talk about it in the second segment, what we have coming up for you. But a jam-packed show, great show for you here on Primetime. We're excited to talk about it, but we had to get some things off of our chest here to start off the show. I texted Chad earlier today, and I said, you know what? I've been seeing the rumors going all around, and there's a lot of respected media members and reporters that have been talking about the Browns quarterback situation and the quarterback room going into 2026. And I said, I texted Chad. I said, I don't understand what exactly are the Browns trying to do at quarterback. Now, for those that are, tuning in and maybe from a different city or, a different state, and aren't aware of the quarterback room in Cleveland, just to remind everybody, it is right now Shedeur Sanders, who finished the season as quarterback one for the Cleveland Browns. You have Deshaun Watson, who obviously we don't really need to detail too much on him. We spent a lot of money, traded for him, and inked him to the largest contract at the time. Most guaranteed money for a quarterback or really any player, and not worth the investment so far. And then you got Dylan Gabriel, and we've talked about Dylan Gabriel, the inability to really move the forward pass, Chad. So that is the quarterback room. And really, they're in a position where we talked about at one point maybe Fernando Mendoza. Well, they're at the 6th draft pick. They draft 6th overall, so there really isn't an opportunity to get Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah.
So now, you just hear, all this rumor. Like, what is the right call for the Browns this season at quarterback, Chad? Because you have Shedeur, you have Deshaun Watson, you have Dylan Gabriel. It's like, me. We've had conversations throughout months on this show. I believe Shedeur Sanders is the guy. I think if you put some actual weapons around him, you put a line that can let him actually sit in the pocket for a half second more, a second more, I think you have something there. I truly do. And I think there's something about the bloodline. He is the son of Deion Sanders. Yeah. I mean, there are guys that are going to want to see him succeed. That alone, I believe, does hold some merit. And I know some people want to see him fail, but I'm in the camp of, let's see Shedeur Sanders for 17 games and rock out. Go get Carnell Tate. Go get Jordan Tyson. Go get one of these guys at number 6. Go pad the offensive line. And the Browns did take some sort of focus on the offensive line during free agency and made a trade for Titus Howard, so I see that. But before I dive into what I heard today, because there were some things today that threw me for a loop, and we'll get into it. If you were looking at these 3 quarterbacks, and we've kind of talked a little bit already about this, but not really other options at free agency. So right now, with Shedeur, Deshaun, and Dylan Gabriel, who is, and what is the right call for the Browns this season at quarterback, Chad?
I have been pretty clear in the last 2 or 3 or 4 days in saying that I no longer know, Eli. It's not that I don't. I feel like Shedeur Sanders is the guy that you want to build around. If you've got to choose between these 3 guys on the roster, you've got a guy who, I don't think that they're going to extend Deshaun Watson, but people tell me there's a chance of that. If he does start, which now that's the direction that it's trending, or the direction in which it's trending. If he plays well for the first few games, he'll likely get extended. And that's okay.
Not good.
No, I don't want to see that. Dylan Gabriel, unfortunately, just didn't look very. I mean, he didn't turn the ball over a lot, but if you remember, I think it's a little bit of revisionist history. If you say, well, Dylan Gabriel didn't throw any picks in his first few starts, he probably had 6 or 7 passes that he threw that should have been intercepted, that hit defenders in the hands and the chest, whatever. I'm not throwing shade at anybody. I'm sure he's a great guy. I don't know him personally. I have nothing against him. I can't imagine. Just by the way, people just I see social media comments and people just jumping on guys hoping for failure or hating for no. I don't understand. Like, if you've never met a person and you think that you can glean anything of their personality through a TV, it's weird to me. It's just hating for absolutely no reason. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, Shedeur Sanders was the one last year who, despite some very adverse conditions, I mean, Jerry Jeudy had all but quit by the time that Sanders had his first start. The offensive line wasn't good, right? I mean, it was worse than not good. It was very bad.
Yeah.
Right? It was almost bottom of the league. It wasn't quite last, but it was almost bottom of the league. I don't know how they weren't last, but he flashed at times. He showed some potential, and I think there's enough to work with there that I'm not saying, when you say this, people, oh, what do you think is the next Tom Brady? I didn't say that. I'm not chill. Like, I think he's just the best of what we have in that room right now for the future. I mean, you've got 2 guys on a rookie contract, right? So obviously it's going to be less expensive to go with one of the guys on the rookie contract. We know that for the next 3 years. And of the 2 that played last year, Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, Sanders was the only one to me that flashed the ability to be an NFL quarterback in the long term. I don't know. Maybe it's a comfort thing for Gabriel. Maybe once, who knows? I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll see a different. Maybe he eases into the offense. He wins the starting role, and he looks completely different this year. I don't know. I doubt it. I have my doubts. I just think right now, if you've got to pick between one of those three guys, I think you go with Sanders because the reality is, I mean, why would Deshaun Watson even sign here?
Yeah, I mean,
He's
why
already
would
making
he?
$250 million. It's not like I need the money or anything. I just don't. I mean, I don't know
Yeah,
why he would stay here.
he's checked out, Chad. You know,
Yeah,
he's checked out.
like it.
And if you're the Browns, why would you sign him back? You already know what you've received, you know, and got with Deshaun Watson in the trade and making the move for him and signing that contract. And it's not been a good return. So, you know, you got to look at Todd Monken, too. It's like, if you're Todd Monken, you get, you know, we talked about it on this show, and we talked about it, you know, on Primetime, Double A's talked about it on Midnight Run. It's like, you get one shot, really, if you're Todd Monken, to get this head coaching gig right. You're 60 years old. This is your opportunity with the Cleveland Browns. Who are you going to tie your name to? We talked about, you know, with the past guy, you know, we don't talk too much Kevin Stefanski on this show because he coaches for the Atlanta Falcons down. Unless the Atlanta Falcons are in the news, there really isn't too much to talk about him in Cleveland anymore. We're not going to take too much time up on this show talking about a former Browns coach. Because I do personally still have a lot of respect for Kevin Stefanski. I just think it's personally gotten, well, we're past it.
It wasn't working here anymore, and there needed to be a change. That's it.
Yes, exactly. And I look at this with Kevin Stefanski. He tied his name to multiple quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He had a little bit more of a chance to do that, though, because he was a younger guy. Todd Monken, it's like, who are you going to tie your name to? Shador? Deshaun Watson? Or maybe somebody else? Because we keep hearing about the 2027 draft class. We keep hearing about Arch Manning, Dante Moore, now Trinidad Chambliss, as he was granted another year of eligibility. There's a lot of guys available. And it makes me think, okay, if you're the Browns, right, if you're Todd Monken, are you going to go with one of the guys in the room? Are you going to wait till 2027? Or, you know, if, you know, in the idea of Nick Shook from NFL.com, who was over on 92.3 The Fan today, we have a clip over courtesy of 92.3 The Fan. He has some thoughts on maybe another guy that we have shared some thoughts on how we feel. But I think it's time we kind of really dive into the prospect of this being a reality, Chad. So let's go ahead and pull that video up if you don't mind.
Fair enough.
Mendoza is far and away the guy. It's not a strong class at quarterback, but, and I know you guys already know this, you got to keep an eye on Ty Simpson and you got to keep an eye on Ty Simpson in Cleveland, and he's going to continue to gain steam as we get closer to the draft because people are starting to pick up on what I just picked up on in Indianapolis during the Combine. The Browns are in love with him, I think. I believe that they are fascinated by him. Obviously, the relationship with Todd Monken plays a part in that. I'm worried that they take him at 24, but I'm also probably, for their case, more worried that another team catches on and takes him before that. So don't be surprised if he ends up sneaking into the first round, even if I don't necessarily think he's quite a first-round talent.
Chad. So that was courtesy of 92.3 The Fan. You saw Tom Withers there. So Andy Baskin in NFL.com, Nick Shook, him giving his thoughts on, obviously after the NFL Combine and the buzz. You know, we've heard Dan Orlovsky, we've heard other NFL media and reporters talking about Ty Simpson. And let me be clear, Chad. Ty Simpson's not a bad guy. At least we don't hear anything bad about Ty Simpson.
No,
doesn't seem like he's a bad guy. In fact, you know, he did some good things at Alabama. You know, got him to the playoffs. He had some big games. I mean, he wasn't bad.
No, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't great down the stretch. And I think that some of the things that you would have wanted to see from him in some of their biggest games, you didn't. You know, he just his production. Their last 5 games of the season, I think he went from like 9.8 yards per attempt to like 5.4. And I know, I get it. As the season goes on, you're playing, and you know, whatever you're moving to playoff games, and they played Indiana, and Indiana was kind of a juggernaut this year, weirdly, but they were, and they had a really strong defense. I mean, they showed you that when they played Ohio State. But I don't know. That's one example. I mean, like I said, it almost cut in half, like the yards per attempt, right? That's terrifying because as you know, and as I'm sure everyone who's watching knows, the competition doesn't get less intense in the NFL, right? The windows in which to throw don't get bigger. You don't have more time to do anything. I mean, the game it's faster. It's so much more hectic, right? And when things really turned up at the end of the season, his decision making sort of he didn't make the worst decisions. Okay, I just don't know if he made decisions and made plays that make him worthy of the 6th overall pick. And I don't think, listen, Nick Shook, he said a couple things in that interview that just, if people start to catch on that the Browns are in love with Ty Simpson, they're going to come and swoop him away. Who would want to swoop any quarterback? Let the quarterback go to Cleveland. They're not, I mean, the perception around the league has to be like, they're not going to do anything with him anyway. I mean, it doesn't matter. Let them take every quarterback in the draft. It doesn't matter, right? They haven't developed a quarterback since 1986. I mean, what?
Yes, that's the thing, Chad. Not to interrupt you, my friend, but the thing that drives me crazy is everything you just absolutely, drove home points on. Ty Simpson, when it came to playing his peers, Fernando Mendoza in the playoffs and playing these big-time matchups, he really shrunk at times. And that's a reality. And I know Ryan Williams isn't the, glamored pick that he was, maybe a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
But he's still a stud at receiver. They have a lot of stars at Alabama. I mean, they breed football talent. So I'm not going to sit here and say this was all Ty Simpson. And I get he wasn't a Saban guy per se because Kalen DeBoer led him. But I just am not a fan of reaching for Ty Simpson where you look at some of these other mock drafts. Matt Miller, I believe, has him in the second round, the first pick in the second round to the Jets. And I'm here we're having to be convinced, like I said, and this is, I heard this over, like I said, we heard it courtesy of 92.3 The Fan, Nick Shook talking about this. It drove me crazy because I'm like, all respect to Nick Shook, why would the Browns reach for a guy that could be there in the second round? It smells like when the Browns reached for Dillon Gabriel this past draft, and grabbed him higher than he would have been. I just don't get it. And it kind of brings me back to what I was saying before we played the video, Chad. And we'll pull it up here because that's the question I have. Are the Cleveland Browns seriously considering drafting Ty Simpson? Because if you're Todd Monken, okay, I asked if you're going to tie yourself to one of these guys in the room, Shedeur, Deshaun, or Dillon Gabriel. Or are you going to go in 2027? Is that your plan? Just whoever this year, and then hopefully Arch Manning or Dante Moore, Trinidad Chambliss, one of those guys coming out of college, or whoever emerges as another stud. Indiana, I know they have, the TCU transfer. I believe it's Josh Hoover, so we'll see about that as well. Kurt Signetti has some interesting words about him today, so we'll see that. I just think with everything here, I just can't believe that Todd Monken would be like, this is who I'm going to tie my future to. Ty Simpson, a guy that we could grab in the second round, but we're going to go up and grab him at number 6.
Just in case somebody starts to get the win that we might like him, they might take him away from us.
If you're Todd Monken, you might as well say, this has got to work. I am an offensive guru. This is how the Browns are bringing me in because I've had the number one offense before in Baltimore.
Yeah.
So now if you're Todd Monken and you tie your name to Ty Simpson, that you better hope it works. That's all I'm going to say. You better hope it works because there is no second chance. You don't get to see 2027, and you don't get that opportunity to go draft Arch Manning or Dante Moore or Chambliss, one of these guys, because you have the Ty Simpson experiment. And I guess it goes back to everything we're talking about here. If you want to experiment, if you want to see if you can grow a quarterback, help a quarterback become one of those guys in the league that we look at and go, I want that guy on my team, the Matthew Staffords of the world, the Tom Brady's of the world. I know that's a big ask, but even just
a huge one,
some of these guys that are stars, that's what the Browns want. We have never had that. We thought we had that for a moment, Baker Mayfield, and we can talk about that on a different show because we have all the time in the world to talk about that now. That's beating a dead horse at this point.
It sure is.
I think if you're Todd Monken, if you're the Browns, why wouldn't you just invest in the experiment you already have? Shedeur Sanders, who was being talked about as a top 2 pick at one point during the draft conversation last year. He is a guy that you got in the 5th round. You have him on a lower paying salary right now. Yeah. You could find out if you can really get this thing to roll and get this rebuild going the right way. Or you reset the clock. That's fine. You want to reset the clock with Ty Simpson. That's okay. It just better work out because this is it for Andrew Berry. It doesn't matter how many Mason Graham picks you land or Carson Schwessinger's, or it doesn't matter if you nail every other pick in this draft if you're Andrew Berry, Chad. Because if you absolutely think that Ty Simpson's the guy and you go out and get him and he is not the guy,
Oof.
Everybody started packing your bags in October or November because you're not even making it to January.
Yeah, you're better off, I think, if you're Andrew Berry, not taking a quarterback for a lot of reasons, just like the one being the one that you just brought up. If he takes Ty Simpson and Ty Simpson goes out there and play, because listen, here's the other thing. I know that a couple other, local, whatever, Browns beat right, whatever. I've heard it. It's hey, if they take Ty Simpson, it's not necessarily the end of Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland. Yeah, it is. I mean, if they take him at 6, they're not going to sit him behind a 5th-round pick. That's not good football. That just doesn't make football sense, right? So at this point, and also there's another reason. This has nothing to do with Ty Simpson, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, this is like the classic. It's not you, it's me, right? Like it's not Ty Simpson, it's the Browns, it's Cleveland. They aren't ready to add a quarterback to this mix. We could do a whole hour on the reasons that they're not ready to add a quarterback. They don't have the offensive line put together. Yeah, they signed some guys. Sure. They traded for a guy. They did some things. They're probably going to draft a guy. That does not mean they have the offensive line put together. They don't have a wide receiver 1. They may draft a guy. That does not mean they have a wide receiver 1. They've drafted plenty of wide receivers throughout the years. We can name them. We can start Braylon Edwards, Corey Holman. We can name them. They never became a wide receiver 1, right? Why would you want to have a quarterback room with 2 second-year guys, a rookie, and a guy who's made a $250 million playing 19 games? It's what a mess. I just stick with what you've got. Listen. I never wanted any of these guys, but you'd be better off adding a Russell Wilson or a Tua Tagovailoa or somebody like that to this quarterback room who can come in and mentor one of these second-year guys for a year or 2, whatever it is, maybe just a year. Show them the ropes, teach them how to prepare at the NFL level or whatever. Because listen, Tua hasn't always had the results. He's had some injuries, but he knows how to prepare. I mean, he's a decent quarterback when it comes to that kind of thing. Russell Wilson knows how to prepare. His personality is a little whatever, but these guys know how to prepare as an NFL quarterback. They can show Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, and if they pick up anything, if they learn anything, then you've got them still for a couple years under a rookie contract. Deshaun Watson is gone. You can draft a guy. You can take a flyer on a guy in 2027, and it doesn't become so urgent. Also, the last reason is if we take a guy at 6, how soon is it if they start 1-2, 0-3, 1-3 before fans start demanding Ty Simpson or whoever it is get out there and play? And then you've got a quarterback who's probably not ready, started 15 games in college, who has seemingly, I don't want to say shrunk, but yeah, he's shrunken against the big competition. Again, the 9.8 yards per attempt down to 5.4 against any kind of real competition at the end of the season. That scares me. That scares the hell out of me. And I just for all those reasons, and there are many more, the Browns just aren't ready to add a quarterback to this quarterback room right now of that significance. If you're going to bring a guy on a 1-year deal, which it's too late for all those guys that I mentioned, but I'm just saying if they were going to do it, it should have been one of those guys. I'm not saying that we're still going to go out and start, you can't do that anymore, but that would have been the move if that's what you wanted to do.
I'm 100% agreement with you on that. We keep talking about the idea of the Jets taking him, Chad, Ty Simpson. Mm-hmm. The Jets, and you can say, anybody can say what they want about Geno Smith. Obviously Geno Smith hasn't had the greatest NFL career, but he's had flashes in Seattle, and he's shown that he at least can be a veteran presence.
Yeah, he's a
and that's why,
yeah.
And that's why it makes sense if the Jets were to get him, because Geno Smith isn't going to be your quarterback for the next 7, 8, 10 years, but he's going to be a guy that maybe can start for you this year. Let Ty Simpson sit behind him and learn how to be an NFL quarterback to a degree.
Yeah. What is Ty Simpson going to learn from Deshaun Watson, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders?
Well, and it's like Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel are still trying to learn themselves, and it's like it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. You talk about another team. We're running long here on this segment, so we're gonna have to go to break here soon. We're not gonna have too much time to chat about it, but I'll throw it in here just for a moment. Adam Schefter from ESPN reported today that the Raiders signed quarterback Kirk Cousins a 5-year deal, like over $100 million, but really a 1-year, $20 million deal basically is like the guaranteed money, and it's really the veteran quarterback presence to be there to, they've talked about it with Clint Kubiak wanting to bring in a veteran quarterback, maybe not, with them going with Fernando Mendoza more than likely at number 1 overall in the draft here this month. They're probably going to look at Kirk Cousins getting a few starts and easing Mendoza into the role. They've already talked about how they don't think, Clint Kubiak said, I don't think that a rookie quarterback should always be the week 1 starter. So now you have a guy that, first off, has made a ton of money in his career, and I'm a big Kirk Cousins fan, so shout out Kirk Cousins. But also, the fact is he's going to be able to keep you in games. I know a lot of people have soured on the idea of Kirk Cousins, but he kept Atlanta in a lot of football games, won some football games with them. I mean, in Minnesota, he was effective for a lot. I get the primetime jokes that he's not very, easy on the primetime jokes. But, like, the primetime jokes of him not performing well, in late games, I get it. But he is a guy that is going to be able to mentor Fernando Mendoza. And the Browns, to what we keep circling back to here, they don't have that because they have two guys that just entered the league last year that are trying to earn the right to be the guy. And, obviously we kind of talked about Dylan Gabriel kind of being out of that position, but in his mind, he's still trying for that. And Shedeur Sanders having a real opportunity to be that guy.
Yeah.
And then you have Deshaun Watson, who is he is in it for himself. He is checked out. He'd rather be doing TikToks and partying on vacation. And if he gets the opportunity to start for this football team, it's going to be sickening. And you can't bring a rookie quarterback into this.
No,
2027.
So dysfunctional.
2027. Deshaun, hopefully we're on the way out. If he's hopefully off this roster, that's my hope.
Yeah.
That he's off this roster, and you know what you're doing with Shedeur Sanders. You know what the route is. Either he's your guy, or you're bringing in a fresh slate with one of these rookie quarterbacks in 2027. They keep talking about, we hear from the NFL draft experts, this 2027 draft class is loaded.
Yeah.
Then maybe we just wait. What is the worst thing about being patient? You took a stab at two different quarterbacks last year. Yeah. Find out if one of them are the guy. That's where I'm at, Chad. That's where I'm at.
I just don't think you can add three quarterbacks in 2 years. And right now, like I said, the quarterback room is all question marks. As Browns fans, Eli, I would give anything for an exclamation point. I just want to know. I think it'd be nice to have something down there, right?
Sure would, pal.
Jeez.
It sure would.
Yeah.
Would. Well, you know what?
At this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a slight pause. Just get us to the next 17. Like, please, somebody come manage a game and win 10, 11 games, please.
I know. Well, hey, this is Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Give us a follow if you're tuning in for the first time. Hello, that's Chad Bryan on my right, your left. I'm Eli Moon. Give us a follow Inside Edge Net. Stay with us. We're here past 11 o'clock. We started a little bit past the 10 o'clock hour, so we're going to run a little bit longer on this primetime edition, and we're having a lot of fun. So we're here with you till whenever we say, hey, go to bed, everybody. Don't go to bed yet. Grab a caffeinated beverage if you're on the East Coast. West Coast, grab your dinner, and we're going to take a pause. If you need a great spring addition to the household, however, you got to hear from our guy, AA Anthony Alford, and one of our sponsors, Alley Rose Fragrances. We're back right after this.
Hey, I got something to show you guys. Take a look. It is spring. Happy spring to all of you. Take a look at what we have here for you from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Beautiful spring scent candles here for you. Hand poured with premium fragrance and essential oils. How about this? Our coconut soy wax candles bring fresh, uplifting spring scents to your home. Made with clean, natural ingredients, they're a mindful choice for sensitive spaces and those who love effortless seasonal fragrances. You got to check it out right now. There's the soft bloom and the lemon bar candles, all healthy ingredients, all from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. And if you're a first-time customer, use the promo code InsideEdge20. That's InsideEdge20. Get this for yourself, for your friends, family, everyone. You want a good smelling home, AlleyRoseFragrances.com will make it happen. Again, AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Get the new spring candles. And when you order, if you're a first-time customer, InsideEdge20 is the promo code.
Clean energy, bold flavors, no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Helps you lock in and focus. Over 15 absolute fire flavors to choose from. Visit Dubby.gg and use promo code InsideEdge10.
And welcome back to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I'm Eli Moon, and you heard it there. Dubby Energy Inside Edge 10 is your code. And you heard it earlier before the break, AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Inside Edge 20 for first-time customers. 20% off your order with great candles and body mists. So great energy drinks, great body mists, candles, all that great stuff through AlleyRoseFragrances.com and Dubby Energy. And then all the way, if you've been tuning in since the beginning, if you missed it, Fanatics, one of our great partners as well, our sponsors. Great jerseys, hats, all that great stuff. Yes, Chad's pointing there. Go to the QR code. It takes you to InsideEdgeNetwork.com/partners and get to all the websites from there and take advantage of all the great deals and all the great stuff there from our great partners. So, Chad, I mean, goodness, the Browns really just had to do that to us. So we got it all for.
Get to stay out of the news cycle for one day, Eli. Like, do we have to? Whatever.
So we got that off our chest. We're feeling okay. We're gonna end this week with some happiness. Because there's other stuff going on, and there's good stuff going on. But we have a very exciting rest of the show, and I believe we have some exciting stuff coming up next segment. I mean, we have great stuff coming up right now in this segment, but some other stuff to look forward to later on, Chad. Isn't that right?
Yeah, Eli and I are going to try to break the world speed jumping record. No, we're not going to. That would be, trust me, that would not go well. We'd have to end the show very abruptly after a severe injury. But we're going to, tomorrow, it's Friday, tomorrow afternoon, it is the Guardians home opener. And it's a confusing time of year weather-wise, right? It's just really, you don't know what to wear, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to plan for the weather. So I thought, Eli, we've been talking about the weather for weeks now. We come on, we're like, it's cold, it's warm, it's cold again, whatever. Pretty, basic stuff. So we decided to bring someone to you guys who might be able to help you if you're heading down at any game. It doesn't have to be the home opener. Any game this weekend against the Cubs during the entire series, whether it's Friday afternoon, Saturday night, Easter Sunday, whatever it is. WKYC meteorologist Matt Wintz will be. I'll speak with him at the end of the show, just in a few minutes here, toward the end of just about the last segment of the show. We'll talk with him, and he's going to get you prepared for how you can prepare if you're headed down to the corner of Carnegie and Ontario and Carnegie, however you want to say it. I said it backwards. It doesn't matter. But yeah, if you're heading down there this weekend for any of the games, he'll let you know basically what you're looking for weather-wise, how to prepare, what to wear, what to bring, all that good stuff. So it's just a fun conversation. So you don't want to miss that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I know
it's always fun talking to Matt. Matt's great.
Yeah, absolutely. No, so we're excited to have obviously Matt on the show, and we're excited to find out what you should be wearing weather-wise, being ready. Because I've done it before. You've gone to the game, and I thought. It was September. I'm like, well, it's September. It's September summer though. So I can wear. I don't need a jacket, and you get down there.
81 degrees, and in 5 minutes it's 52. Right, exactly.
So Matt's gonna get us together, get everybody out there together. So we appreciate him. So stick around for that. And
maybe you can let us know why that happens. I would love to know why. I don't know.
Yeah. We're gonna have to have more questions ready. But yes, we'll stay tuned for that. And of course, we're gonna get you ready for some baseball coming up. Before then, with some conversation about prospects. Okay, if you're a Guardians fan, you're out there. We're Cleveland's digital leader here, and your source of sports, entertainment, mental health conversations, and everything in between. We obviously talk a lot about prospects. We've seen some of our greatest players be traded for prospects to be named later, or prospects that we hope to see become superstars later. And that's just the Cleveland Guardians way.
Yeah.
This conversation about prospects isn't because somebody's getting traded or anything like that, Chad. Don't worry. I don't want you to get worried. We're only a few games into the season, okay?
Sweat. Okay. All right.
I know. Don't worry. It's because it seems the new trend is to really just bet on your prospects if you're an organization, especially an organization if you're not the Dodgers, where you can just pay for every player when they're in their prime and bring them to your squad. If you have to do it the traditional way and bring your prospects up, it seems like there isn't the old school way of waiting 2-3 years, playing the service time role. You're just bringing these guys up if you're a franchise. A lot of them, however. I won't say all of them because that is the conversation right now with the Guardians, and we'll get into that in just a second. But I do want to shed some light on the top prospect in baseball, which is Konnor Griffin. And the Pittsburgh Pirates, called him up and he will be joining the team for Friday's home opener.
Yeah.
He was trying to win the gig in spring training for shortstop. They gave him the opportunity. He didn't really have the best spring training run. I mean, he shows him popping his bat, but not enough for them to win the gig, or him to win the gig. They're 3-3 right now, and they've decided after the 6 games that he's coming up. He's going to play in Friday's home opener, which is tomorrow. So right. I'm curious to see if they flex that game to where you can watch it on MLB Network or something like that, just like they did Strasburg. But, it's kind of like interesting because, Strasburg's one of the only guys I could think of that really came up fast. Paul Skeens too, but you don't see it. You see it on the pitcher side, but hitting-wise, position players, you don't see it a ton. So for a 19-year-old Konnor Griffin who'll be 20 years old on April 24th, which is also my niece's birthday. She'll be 2. So shout out Arrow. Yep, absolutely. But Konnor Griffin, who'll be 20 later this month, it'll be interesting to see how he adapts and plays for the Pirates. We're having a little bit of fun so far. We talked before we got on air about they just inked him to like a 9-year deal. They're working on a 9-year deal here in the range of 9 years and $140 million. That's reported from ESPN that they're working on that. So it's interesting for a team that hasn't really paid anybody. You were talking about this, Chad, and Paul Skeens still being out there, that they could still sign him and bring him. And I know we share differing opinions on if he were to agree on his end. Yeah. It's just interesting that they're betting on Konnor Griffin, the 19-year-old who has yet to play an MLB out, an at-bat, anything like that.
Hasn't swung a ground ball, hasn't swung a bat, not in a Major League game. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, and I want to see obviously him do well, but it is a risk, for a team that doesn't really spend a lot of money typically. Sure. Do you think – I have 2 questions for you before we make this, Guardian-centric for a second and I ask you a question on them. Do you think that this was the right move for the Pirates to call him up this early? And what do you think of the rumors of this contract that they might give him?
Well, let's hold here for 9 years. And at the end of 9 years, I will answer that question. I don't know. Listen, if he does hit, he's the number 1 prospect in baseball for a reason. But baseball is it's such a, and we've clean. That's a new word. It's foolproof that we've seen plenty of guys come up and it doesn't matter the sport, NBA, the NFL, can't miss prospects, right? These guys they're physically imposing. They've got every tool, let's just stick with baseball. They can throw it, they can run, they can hit it, whatever. They've got all the tools, and they miss for whatever reason. That's whether it's something in their mentality, their approach. It's hard to measure heart. It's hard to measure, how a guy's going to react the first time he strikes out, 11 out of 15 at bats or whatever, because a lot of these guys have never seen anything but success, right? So it's really just hard to foreshadow what's going to happen. But I think baseball is probably the hardest. I think being a baseball scout might be one of the hardest jobs. I have played enough baseball in my career, and as an adult, well into my adult years, I think I can watch a baseball game, and talent sticks out. You can always see the guys. You can the most talented guy on the field. You're going to find him right away, right? It doesn't take long. You can spot him in warm-ups. It's really, really quick. If you know what you're looking for, right? You can see it. It doesn't even have to be. Sometimes it doesn't even have to be a hit, Eli, or like a big diving play. For example, we were a long time ago. My wife and I were watching Ohio State. We were watching Ohio State baseball. We were watching college baseball, and they had a center fielder that he just there was a fly ball, and it was just like the way he deked the runner into looking like the ball, whatever. He just made a couple of plays. He hit the cut really perfectly, and I was like, man, that was 2 really good plays in a row. It was I wonder who that guy is. That clearly to me was the best player on the field, and it was just 2 really minimal plays. And I looked him up. I don't remember his name, but at the time he was a true freshman. He was the first freshman to start in center field for Ohio State since the 1960s, and he was from Mayfield. He's up here in Northeast Ohio. He was a high school All-American, and I was like, yeah, it stuck out. It immediately, like a sore thumb, the talent stuck out, right? So you can see the talent. You can see when a guy has, but that doesn't mean guys are going to hit. That doesn't mean guys are going to do what it takes to have a 12, 15-year major league career, right? It doesn't always pan out that way. Injuries happen, which, that's beyond a player's control. You can't do anything about that. But all kinds of things can happen between now and then. So it's odd to me. I feel like this is this newest trend. It's only been happening this year, right? Since we've known about the lockout on December 1st. So let me ask you this. Let's flip it around on the owners. What do these owners know what's coming down the pike on December 1st during this whole lockout, during all these discussions? Why are they locking these guys up so soon? Like, what's going to happen? Why is there this urgency to lock up all these 18, 19, 20-year-olds to these decade-long deals? Why is that happening now?
Yeah.
Is it talent? Is it panic? Is it fear? Is it is there something coming down the pike where they go, hey, we're going to lose control of these guys. We're not going to be able to sign them. We got to. I don't know. It's just I'm not really sure. I can't. It's hard to really put my finger on it.
It's very interesting. And the only other thing I can think of is maybe this is the Pirates ownership going, you know what? You guys have got on us as fans. We haven't paid nobody. You guys have been excited about this top prospect, just like we in Cleveland were excited about Travis Bazzana.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the Pirates being like, we're going to ink them and show them we are committed to at least bring in somebody that you guys can show up and watch every day for Pirates baseball the next 9 years, or until we decide that he goes to the Dodgers or the Yankees. I mean,
maybe the thought is if they ink him and he hits and he sticks around, and he's here for 3 or 4 years, and maybe it makes Paul Skeens look and go.
That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is maybe this is the way to entice Paul Skeens, and knowing that he could go at any moment now. Really,
start building now, right? Yeah, start building around him now, and don't wait until his contract year and go, okay, here's our 3 to 5 year plan. Well, you've already wasted 5 years of his career, 6 years. That's too long at that point. So yeah, maybe that's all it is, Eli. Maybe they're just banking on Konnor Griffin to help pull Paul Skeens into the mix. And I mean, I've heard no inkling of any rumblings at all of any contract talks with Paul Skeens and the Pirates. So my assumption is he's just waiting to get his payday, and it's probably not going to come from Pittsburgh, and that's okay. He's more than it's his career. He can do whatever he wants, but it's just, I don't know. Maybe this is that. Maybe that's all it is. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but it just feels like some of these owners are these are panic signings before the lockout. And I don't know why, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm interested. It seems like Paul Skeens a little happy there in Pittsburgh. I saw him in an interview earlier. It seems like he's happy, the camaraderie. Yeah. He's excited. I believe he is pitching in the home opener, I believe. So I gotta, confirm that. I'll confirm that during the break. But I believe he's pitching during the home opener. But at least during that home series, you'll get to see, I believe, Paul Skeens if you're a Pirates fan. So that'll be interesting in itself. So with that being said, before we get the break, like I said, we are having a ball. Time is getting away from us. I want to ask you this about on the Guardians front. Is it time for Travis Bazzana to be called up by the Cleveland Guardians? Because I know we talk about the 50-game sample size. I told you I feel like with players, maybe we have a little bit of a smaller sample size. I think team-wide, yes, like 50 games in, 50, 60 games in, okay, what's the team going to be? I think you got to have a little bit of a shorter sample size with some of these players that you already have some history on. And I look at Gabriel Arias, I look at Bryan, and I know Arias went deep against the Dodgers. I get it. I still think it's been a struggle for them offensively. Yeah. And you look at Bazzana, he's really close to becoming a household name. He was in the World Baseball Classic. Former number 1 overall draft pick. And we just talked about the top prospect in baseball, Konnor Griffin, at 19 years old being called up. Travis Bazzana played college ball. He is a little bit older than Konnor Griffin. So it's like, do you make the call if you're the Guardians to bring Travis Bazzana up, especially seeing the pop out of Chase DeLauder? And we'll see, he should be back, tomorrow is the hope. So Chase DeLauder coming back. We'll see if Manzardo can pick the bat up. But, you got Jose, Steven Kwan. You add Bazzana to this lineup and go, guess what? Now we're going to score 6-7 runs a game. And with that pitching, now this is the year, because it really feels like the Guardians are just one more bat away from really being a menace, like a real problem in the American League and in Major League Baseball. Because right now they're having some fun, but you have Bazzana and that extra pop. I mean, you can't really pitch around Jose Ramirez in at that point, because now if you're looking at a lineup, DeLauder in front of him, Manzardo and Bazzana after him, Kwan at the top, that's a strong lineup, Chad. And it's like, how much longer are Guardians fans going to be patient? I'm not saying tomorrow bring up Bazzana. I think you wait a little bit longer, give it at least another week or two. But how much longer do Gabriel Arias and Bryan and this infield have without Bazzana? Because it seems like the only thing stopping him from getting up here is his glove. He's not the most sound infielder defensively is what I've heard. Yeah. And maybe that's it. But I'll sacrifice a little bit defensively as long as he's not out there tripping over his own feet in the infield if he's going to give the bat. Because we're doing the same thing with Chase DeLauder. Yeah. I talked, on this show about Chase DeLauder's glove, and you've seen a few bobbles, but well, sacrifice that every now and then if he's going to go yard every game or you get on base every game. And,
by that same token, sometimes Manzardo's looked a little bit lost at first base, learning the position. And you're willing to sacrifice that for the 27 home runs he hit last year and hopefully more this year. But yeah, I see your point. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, if you're the Guardians, do you follow suit? And everybody's like, well, you see what the Pirates are doing. And, the funny responses I see online of, well, maybe the Pirates aren't the organization you follow suit on, how to, but the Pirates aren't the only team doing this, and we've seen in the past with Juan Soto brought up by the Nationals.
Yeah.
We've seen these other teams bring up these younger prospects, these guys that, okay,
I don't know,
we drafted them
up super early, but probably 2 years before it was planned to bring him up. He forced his way up,
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing I didn't mean to cut you off, but here's my answer about Bazzana. I'm looking at his WBC numbers, World Baseball Classic numbers, right? For Australia, he was where am I? 3 for 16. So he hits 188 in the World Baseball Classic, right? No home runs. 1 home run. I apologize. 1 home run. And he's with Columbus so far after 5 games, he's hitting 167. So I think what they're going to want to see is a couple of things. They're going to want to see him have a few probably good games in a row consistently, to get his confidence up. Just baseball is a big mental game, right? Your mind has to be in the right place. Otherwise it'll really eat you up at any level, right? It can do that. And I think bringing him up right now off of hitting 188 in the World Baseball Classic and 167 down in AAA, I just don't know if it's the best idea right now. They want to get him up here sooner than later, but I think they want to see him have some sustained success to bring him up on a little bit of a wave, I guess, a wave of confidence and just maybe a hot bat, whatever it is, and then you can overlook the glove. But if you bring him up and he hits 125, over his first 5-6 starts or whatever at the major league level, and he's playing average to below average defense, well, now you've just wasted an option. You're going to have to send him back down, and you're just in you're in a tough spot. Not that he's got the 3 options, but man, you really want to bring up. He's the number 1 overall pick, right? You want to bring him up and you want him to make an impact right away. So you want to see him start making that impact in AAA. Make sure he's healthy. Make sure he's good with the glove. Make sure he's good with the bat. Make sure he's okay mentally. Then I think you want to call him up. But I think you've got to take care of all that first with Bazzana. Make sure he's moving in the right direction and that he's having some consistent success. And then we want to see him in Cleveland. But I don't want to see him come up here and struggle. Listen, especially a hitter. I think a pitcher you can get over. If you come up and get hit once, whatever. It's happened to everybody at every level. It happens. But as far as a hitter, you can really get inside your head. If you come up and have 12, 15 at-bats over 3, 4, 5 games and strike out 10, 12 times, it's going to mess with you a little bit. You know what I mean? So I think they just want to see him have that sustained success before they bring him up.
Yeah, and I don't think the Guardians are expecting him to be a 300 batting average, guy. He's more for the pop in his bat, but I get what you're saying. I did look at his numbers. He batted, I believe it was in 51 games he played in with Akron last year, Double-A Akron. He had a 256 batting average. He had 5 home runs. So, I get what you're saying. Maybe just a little bit more pop, but the excitement's there, Chad, and it's like, man, we see everybody else bringing up their top prospects. You want to join in on the fun, man.
Yeah, you want to join in on the fun, but you don't want to see him come up and struggle mightily. You want to see him come up and have some success. So
you're right, but the one thing with the Guardians, and I will, this is something to note. It seems like they just don't have the best read on their offensive prospects. Sometimes they don't know when to bring them up, and sometimes they don't know when to say, okay, this isn't working out.
Yeah, and they really haven't developed them over time. It's been all pitching. They do a great job with starting pitching, and even the bullpen guys. But hitting has been a little bit hit or miss when it comes to development.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that, pal. Another thing we'll keep an eye on.
Intended there, hit or miss. That wasn't.
Hey, I see what you did there. All right. We'll also keep an eye on is the weather. And yes, it's going to be a home opener here for the Guardians against the Chicago Cubs this weekend at Progressive Field. Very excited. Did you get your tickets? Hopefully you did. Chad's going to sit down with WKYC's Matt Wintz, go over the weather, how to be prepared for this weekend, all that great stuff for the Guardians and Chicago Cubs this weekend at Progressive Field for Easter weekend. So we're going to take a quick pause. When we come back, sit back and relax, listen to Chad and Matt Wintz, and then we'll come back and we'll regroup for our final thoughts here to put a bow on this week of Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. But that's Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I am Eli Moon, and we'll be right back after this.
Whether you're searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and player. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, but you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. And welcome back to Inside Edge Primetime on the Inside Edge Network. We are very, very close to a big, big day here in Northeast Ohio. Listen, it's spring. It's baseball season. We've got the Cleveland Guardians home opener tomorrow night, Friday. They're taking on the Cubs. And so in case you're wondering, like I am, what to do, because it's April. You wake up in the morning and you wear a winter coat. And then you go pick up your kids from school and you've got shorts and a t-shirt on. And then evening, if you go to pick up a bite to dinner, you put the winter coat back on. You may grab an umbrella. Who knows? You may grab a raincoat. I don't know. You're going to have to grab something, though, because it's spring in Ohio and this is what we get. So I thought, instead of guessing, we've been talking about the weather so much on the show the last few weeks for a multitude of different reasons. I thought we would have someone in here that maybe knows what they're talking about. So instead of amateur hour, like you've gotten on the weather stuff for the past couple of weeks, please help me welcome to the show WKYC meteorologist Matt Wintz.
Hey, Chad. Listen, I'm amateur hour on TV. I don't know what you're talking about. You're totally fine. 2
amateur hours, I think, makes right. Is that how that works?
Hopefully, as long as you're saying 50% chance of rain and partly cloudy, you're always right. It's fine.
That's even what I say when I talk about sports. So yeah. We're on the right track. I think we're on a good track.
Yeah, very good.
So Matt, first of all, while I have you, the weather's been weird. We're used to weird weather in the spring. I don't even call this spring. I call it mud. It's just mud. My whole yard it's like quicksand. I look longingly. I drive by people who are having their yards mowed by landscaping companies, and I'm like, I can't even walk on mine. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And we're really we're short on rain for the season, as I understand it. Aren't we a little short?
Yeah, we've got a deficit, which is weird. I had a very angry viewer email yesterday when I showed that. They're like, that's not a true read. My yard's muddy. And it's like, well, we had a very dry January and February, and so we're catching up for that. We don't need any more rain now for sure, but it's been a little dry to start the year, so obviously we're a little bit behind. We could use more come, let's say, later in April when we dry out for a little bit.
Fair enough. Yeah, some sun and some wind will help. Maybe dry out my yard so I can, I don't know, drive the lawnmower around and act like I'm doing something. But I don't think that's what anybody wants to hear me talk about. And I do want to ask you another question. So a really fun thing. I'm kind of like, I love space. First of all, did you watch the shuttle launch yesterday?
I did. I just can't imagine, Chad, being close to that. I mean, they could see it miles away, like St. Augustine could see it. They could see it in Jacksonville. Just what an event, right? I mean, just you're witnessing history, and just the launch itself is such a cool thing. So I'm sure you were glued to it as well.
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, the first time, and I'm really old, but it's the first time in my lifetime that we've really pulled off anything like this. I think that's really cool. We haven't sent anyone to the moon or around the moon or whatever since 1972. It's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time. Yeah, I just hope they make it back. I mean, I was wondering, I'm like, who does the trajectories on these? I mean, the scientists, what if they like, oh, shoot, we're off by 20 miles. And then they're like, oh, there's Jupiter or Saturn, I just hope they got it right in terms of the math on that curve.
Yeah, I know, right? And I'm not good at math, so that's something they probably won't ask for my help on anytime soon or ever, really. And then one more question I have to ask you. I'm very curious. All the meteorites everywhere, all I know it's pretty common. We get hit probably more times a day on Earth than we even realize.
Right.
don't think people realize how much of the Earth is covered in ocean. I mean, most of I would imagine most of those come down harmlessly in the ocean somewhere where no one sees it. There's no one around for miles. But it seems like we've had a little bit of an influx lately all over the country, and I don't know. People say that we should have more advanced warning, or why isn't NASA doing this or that? First of all, it's kind of hard to see something the size of a car coming from the direction of the sun, right? Isn't that a little difficult?
The sun's bright, so there's that. But yeah, it's been, and they say, again, I know about as much about space as I do anything else because, meteorologist, I'm supposed to know about meteors. I get it.
Absolutely.
But I'm like cloud level down for the most part. But, what I read was that, it tends to flare up in March and April, and we don't really know why. And we're hearing a lot about it. I mean, obviously social media has changed things. So it's the same thing with tornadoes and extreme weather. Like, is it worse now? Are we seeing more meteors now? Or is it just because we hear about every single thing that happens? And it was kind of a buzzword for a little while. After that Cleveland one, the one that settled down near Medina, there were a lot more, and everyone's picking up on it saying, oh, is something happening? So it's been kind of crazy, though. And you would think we'd have some advanced warning if something's about to fall on us from space.
Yeah, something big. But yeah, the little ones, they usually come through and they don't do much damage. People are going out looking for rocks and hopefully making some money. I don't know where you sell those kind of things, but maybe we'll talk to our sponsor, sportsmemorabilia.com. We can see it. We can sell your meteorite pieces there. We'll talk about it. But anyway, let's get down to business because tomorrow night we have the Cleveland Guardians home opener. I can't believe it's April. It's April 2nd. It's hard to believe that we're one day away from the home opener. First of all, they opened up with a pretty rough road trip. Had to go out to Seattle and the Dodgers and handled that pretty well. So yeah, they're home tomorrow night. We don't know what to wear. We don't know what to bring. Do we bring jackets? I have no idea. So just help people know, first of all, for Friday night for the home, for tomorrow night's home opener. And then just for Saturday and Sunday, what's the weather looking like for the weekend?
Yeah. So, if you would have told me that the Guards were going to be anything better than 0-6 coming home after looking at that schedule, I would have been happy with it. But yeah, they've really done well so far. And it's early in the season, obviously a long season. You have a long season to talk about it as well. But in terms of the forecast tomorrow, so it's interesting. So there's a lot of activities going on pregame. Obviously, they've got the parade that goes across the bridge, which is coming in from Ohio City. That's super cool. Slider and the hot dogs are going to be a part of that. We'll be going live, obviously, in the morning. Our WKYC team's doing the morning show at Progressive Field. So that'll just get the energy going for the day. So a lot going on pregame. And the way I want to bring this up is the fact that we are going to have rain around in the morning. What we're watching on radar here tonight, you can see it if you check right now, there's going to be severe weather out towards Chicago and tornadoes and all sorts of action out there. That is going to slide in here as we get into the morning hours. We're not going to get the tornado stuff, though. We'll just have leftover rain from that. So it's going to be rainy tomorrow morning, and it may be rainy up through that morning rush hour into the 8, 9, 10 o'clock hour. And we're all going to say, man, are the Guards going to get this game in or not? They will, because that front's going to wash out over us. Temperatures are going to be really mild. It's going to feel like summer tonight and tomorrow as well. We'll start probably in the upper 60s like we would on a summer day. And that rain will fade and we'll likely go to sunshine with some clouds. And we'll see some pop-up showers and downpours during the afternoon. I feel like most of them are going to stay away from the ballpark around 4 o'clock, obviously first pitch. So we'll be dealing with some downpours perhaps down to the south. But I do feel like we stay dry for the game. Temperatures, though, are interesting, Chad, because they come down. Anytime we have a very light wind this time of year, which we'll have tomorrow, the wind will be very light. The cold air out over the lake, let's get geeky. It's heavy and dense, and it likes to expand, and that's what we call the lake breeze. And so it's going to be a light wind tomorrow. We'll likely get up near 75 or so at the ballpark pregame, but once the game starts or a little bit before, that lake breeze boundary will come in. So you're going to want the jacket because temps will go from the 70s to the 60s to the 50s for much of the game, right at the ballpark. But as you drive south down 77, you're right back to the 70s. But I do feel like we'll be dry. There will be some showers around, but I'm not too worried about getting that game in. I think they'll do it just fine.
Okay, great. I love Northeast Ohio weather. First of all, I'm down to get geeky anytime. Like, I love that.
Awesome.
I've been at I've definitely been down there before at the stadium at a game when the sun's beating down. You're like, wow, it's really hot. And 3 innings later, it's very cold. It's like, let's go home or go stand somewhere and undercover. So that's
I even remember games where you go and it's hot and then it gets cold and then it gets hot and it gets cold again, where that boundary just sits right over the ballpark. It's crazy. It's just crazy how that happens.
That's crazy. And it's funny to me when people get upset about, a little bit of a change in the weather how do you predict that? I mean, like, how do you
Right.
really like? That's amazing to me that you even know what you're talking about. Like I said, we've been doing amateur hour for the last couple of weeks. Going, it's cold, it's warm, it's cold. We don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, March was a crazy month. We're used to ups and downs. You're from Northeast Ohio, so you get it. But it was a lot more up and downy than a lot of Marches have been with just crazy temperature extremes. But this weekend, you did ask about Saturday, Sunday. So Saturday's game is in the evening. That game looks warm, but we'll be watching a line of showers and storms in from the west. That's going to be a cold front. So it's going to be tough to get that game in if that rain arrives any sooner. I have a feeling we're going to have storms around. And then Sunday for Easter, we're cooler. That's an afternoon game. Overall, we'll have temps in the 40s, but we'll be dry for Easter Sunday behind that front. So kind of cold on Sunday. The baseball that we're used to here, kicking off home opening series here in Cleveland.
That's it. The baseball that we're used to. You never know. Sometimes we get snow. One year they had to go to Milwaukee to get a few home games in. Really weird. That was a bizarre
Who goes to Milwaukee to get a home game, and it's
not even Milwaukee wants to do. No, I'm kidding. No, yeah, that was a really weird season. But yeah, I'm glad I asked. And I think now everyone has a better idea. If you're going to a game Friday, if you're going Saturday, if you're going to go on Easter Sunday, you know what apparel to wear and what to bring. And maybe sometimes people bring a cooler with something if you can get that in. Whatever. I bring a cooler of clothes. I don't really know. Like, you're going to have to be prepared for a little bit of everything. At least it's not going to snow. It sounds like we're free from snow, right?
We're free from snow. Now, Tuesday, we might get some snowflakes flying around, but I'm not too worried about it. Nothing crazy. We warm up after that. So it's going to shape up to be a pretty nice April as it looks right now. All
right. Fair enough. Well, Matt, thank you so much. I know you're a busy guy. We got to get you to where you work very, very early in the morning. So we got to get you to bed and get you to work and do it. We don't want you to look tired on air. We'll get blamed for that. And we get blamed for enough around here. Trust me. Our program director blamed us for everything we do. So we don't want Primetime to get blamed for everything. Just maybe one thing we'll get by on. But Matt, thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate you. And are you good? Any Easter plans this weekend?
Yeah, we're hosting. So the in-laws are coming. No comment. But I'm just gonna make sure I clean the toilets here before I go to bed in about an hour.
Fair enough. All right. Well, make sure you get the toilets clean. We appreciate you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and to let everyone know how to plan their weekend if they're going to the Guardians games.
Chad, I appreciate you having me. Love the show, and thanks. Keep up the good work. And if you ever need a forecast again, I'm here. All right. No rain delays.
Appreciate it. No rain delays, because well, you see, Matt is the official blame taker of rain delays. So AA, if you're watching anywhere, that's our program director. Don't blame me. It's not my fault this time. He is it says official. That's official. Yeah, I can't do anything about it.
I'll take it. I've got the badge, unfortunately.
All right, thank you, Matt. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Chad.
Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Ryan and Hallie Mosser. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio, but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com.
And welcome back to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I'm Eli Moon. We are back to put a bow on this week and this Thursday edition of Inside Edge Primetime. Shout out and thank you to WKYC's Matt Wintz. Chad, great job, man. I trusted you. If anybody watched Midnight Run yesterday, they know that sometimes I guess I get tired and I fall asleep. We've addressed that. So I trusted you with this, and you did a great job, pal. Great job. And thank you to Matt for giving us some insight on the weather.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we appreciate Matt Wintz. And I appreciate you. I didn't know if you were going to make it back. I was like, man, this is dangerous. Getting him off the screen this could be a whole nother messy situation. I had Double A on standby over here just in case you took a little moony nap. I didn't know what was going to happen, but we're good. You made it back, and we're here. We're here together.
Yes,
we're together once again. We're all good.
We sure are. And we're going to put a bow on this Thursday edition of Inside Edge Primetime. Thanks to everybody out there tuning in and staying locked in here with us. We're giving you a little bit extra prime time here, but more to come on that too. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the coming weeks. But let's put our final thoughts on this thing here. Chad, would you like to go first to give your final thoughts on this Thursday edition of Inside Edge Primetime?
Yeah, listen, it's Easter weekend. A lot of people are going to be I know a lot of you watching are going to be traveling. Your family's going to be traveling to you. Either way, just a reminder to everyone to stay safe, right? Slow down and get there. You'll get there, right? Like, there's no need to hurry, right? Just take your time. Drive safely. I don't know if you're going to be driving through rain or anything else over the weekend. Seems like it's going to be a little bit spotty here and there. So definitely be safe. If you can get down to the Guardians games, any of them, the home opener is always fun. That's always a great atmosphere. I mean, you heard Matt, they got the parade coming across the bridge in the morning. They got the slider and the hot dogs, everything else. So if you want to go down there and be a part of that, that'll be awesome. Maybe you can jump on WKYC. You can be in the background of their shot in the morning. And you can go, hey, I know that guy. I saw him on Inside Edge Primetime.
Yep.
You can yell, good job, Matt. But yeah, I listen. Just the important thing is, I guess, just enjoy the time with your family, right? Be safe and have a really good weekend and go Guardians.
Absolutely, pal. I love it. Go Guardians. And you know what? I will be producing Real Talk About Moon this Saturday at 5 p.m., but I won't be in front of the camera, so this will be my last time until early next week being on air, and by that point, it'll be my little brother's birthday, so I want to take the time now to wish my little brother Austin a happy early 24th birthday. He'll be 24 on the 5th, which is Easter this Sunday. We're going to be traveling down to Columbus, the whole fam, and we're going to go see my little brother. I'm very proud of him. He is over at Ohio State, crushing it, just doing a great job. I mean, the kid's never finished below the dean's list. I mean, he's just a very intelligent, outgoing human being, and I'm very proud to call him my little brother. Though he's growing up right before our eyes. So I'm very proud, and I want to say happy early birthday to my little brother Austin. I love you, and we'll see you in Columbus this weekend, man, for Easter, for your birthday, for everything, and very excited about that. So I hope everybody enjoys their weekend. Like Chad said, really just cherish the time with your family, your loved ones, whoever that is. Just be around them and really just be happy. We got one life. Just be happy. The sun's starting to come back out again. It is that time. It's the busy season. So, just get excited. If you get a chance to go out and see the Guardians this weekend, enjoy the Guards, be safe. And, so with all that being said, Chad, it has been a fun week, pal. It has been a fun week. We have we've had a heck of a week, and we're going to do it all again next week. So with that being said, make sure you tune into Inside Edge Network. If this is your first time, thank you for tuning in. Give us a follow, Inside Edge Net. If you are not new here, you know the drill, but we're here Monday through Thursday, 10 to 11 p.m. here on the Inside Edge Network. Of course, Monday through Wednesday after us, Midnight Run with Anthony Alford from 12 to 1 a.m. So a lot of great stuff here, and a lot of great programming throughout the week. Chad will be with you this weekend. It will be the Illegal Formation and Sunday Sports Show. Oh,
well, I think we're taking the Easter weekend off, actually.
That's fair.
Yeah, everybody, logistics were tough. If something happens, if something really big happens, if the Browns pre-announce that they've traded for the number 1 pick in the draft, and they're going to take, I don't know, who knows, Diego Pavia or something with the pick. Just kidding. Don't speak that into existence. No, but if something big happens, sports-wise, news-wise, whatever, TK and I are going to try to jump on Saturday night and do a quick impromptu live, quick version of well, we always do it live, but I guess an urgent version of Illegal Formation. Otherwise, too many logistics this weekend for everybody. It's a holiday weekend, so I think we're going to have the weekend off. So I think the next time that you'll see programming, if all stays calm over the weekend, is main event. Is that right?
Yeah, we're going to see what's going on. I'm glad you mentioned something, because with Easter, we're going to have to check in with the fellas.
Yeah.
But I do know we'll have at least Saturday at 5 p.m. Real Talk with Papa Moon. A really, really cool episode. He's on a different location, different set. So we'll have that. We will have programming for you this weekend. But nonetheless, if we are going to take a lot of hiatus for Easter, it's just to spend some time with our family so we can get back recharged for you and be back with you all next week. Like I said, prime time back Monday through Thursday at Midnight Run with Anthony Alford. A lot of great programming with you all week long. This is the Inside Edge Network. This is Inside Edge Primetime and the Inside Edge Network. Give us a follow, Inside Edge Net. Stay locked in. We're your source of sports, entertainment, mental health, and everything in between. We really appreciate you.
And now weather. And now weather. We have
And now weather, pal. You're dang right. Make sure you go to the QR code, InsideEdgeNetwork.com/partners, InsideEdgeNetwork.com/partners. That's a QR code. You go right there to Chad's side right there. Scan it. You get to all the great stuff, all the great sponsors, Fanatics, AlleyRoseFragrances.com, SportsMemorabilia.com, W Energy, and Monster Moments Photography. A lot of great stuff. We appreciate you. We love you. We hope you have a great Easter weekend. We'll be back with you Monday. That's Chad Bryan. I'm Eli Moon. We're just a bunch of guys, two fellas.
We're a bunch of guys over here.
We have the heart of a lion and the heart of a tribe.
We
are two guys.
Group. Yeah, we're.
Hey, I think we got our punchline. We are two guys with the heart of lions here on Inside Edge Primetime. We're back next week before we get in trouble. All right. See you guys next week. Peace.